Nike released a 40-second commercial featuring Caitlin Clark, and within moments it sent the internet into chaos. Just minutes after the ad went live, the sneakers sold out in a jaw-dropping 1 minute, yes 60 seconds flat. Almost instantly, critics flooded social media with outrage. Nike's decision to finally give Caitlin Clark her own solo campaign wasn't just marketing. It was a statement. They were positioning her as the new face of women's sports, and not everyone was ready for that. Fans from rival camps and outspoken veterans reacted loudly, but the noise only highlighted one truth. Caitlin Clark's momentum can't be stopped. The real question now isn't whether she'll succeed, but how far her detractors will go trying to slow something that's already out of their control. Before breaking down the backlash, let's pause and look back. What exactly did Nike show that triggered such a massive reaction? Let's unpack the ad that set the internet on fire. It opens with Caitlin calmly tying her shoes, locked in and focused. As she pulls the laces tight, the camera closes in on her eyes. For a brief moment, they sharpen and glow yellow. A powerful visual reference to Kobe Bryant's Black Mamba legacy, signaling that Clark is ready to carry forward that intensity. Long before the official launch, fans had already spotted Caitlin Clark wearing the sneakers during her college career. At the time, most assumed they were simply her preferred pair on game day. What many didn't realize was that she referred to them as her magic shoes. As it turns out, that meaning wasn't just personal. Those shoes were about to become something much bigger. Now, for the first time, fans everywhere have the opportunity to wear the same pair that carried her through some of her biggest moments.
The shoes?
The people here.
Yeah, I packed 3 pairs. I didn't know which ones I was going to go with. All had a little bit of yellow in them. But these are my Bruce Lee Kobe's that have worn literally every big game of my career at Iowa. So I was like, I have to break them out. So I didn't pick any of my PEs today. You could probably get these or find them, probably buy them on the secondary market, but they're kind of hard to come by. But I mean, there was no other option. I had to choose these, and yeah, they're kind of like my magic shoes, honestly.
As expected, critics and online groups of haters had no shortage of opinions about both the commercial and the shoe release. Their reactions varied, but one complaint kept resurfacing. Some simply refused to accept Nike's decision to link Caitlin Clark with Kobe Bryant's legacy, arguing that the pairing itself was unnecessary and controversial.
I was having a argument, or I would say a friendly debate with a friend of mine about this, and he said that, because Caitlin hasn't, because she's fairly new in the WNBA. I know this is the second year, but she hasn't proven that she could sell shoes, so the collaboration is a smart move by Nike, because you add a big thing like Kobe Bryant to it, it's gonna sell.
That reaction clip revealed everything. The frustration in his voice went far beyond the commercial itself. It was really about what the message represented. To him, Nike connecting Caitlin Clark to Kobe Bryant's legacy wasn't honoring greatness. It was leaning on it. He argued that she couldn't move product on her own, believing she needed the weight of Kobe's name to succeed. In his view, the Black Mamba Association was doing the real work. But the reality tells a different story. The shoes sold out in less than a minute. So maybe the real issue isn't whether Caitlin needed Kobe, but why some people refuse to accept that she didn't. His argument reflects a long-standing bias in women's sports, especially in the WNBA, where media attention and major endorsement deals have historically been limited. High-budget campaigns are rare, and signature shoes are even rarer. From that perspective, he simply couldn't believe a female athlete, let alone a rookie, could generate numbers like that alone. He credits the sellout solely to Kobe's legacy, ignoring Clark's skill, influence, and the millions of fans who support her night after night. And that mindset is exactly why moments like this are so important.
For some of you guys, you had an absolute movie today on Nike Sneakers app. But let's be real, a majority of us saw this screen today from the Caitlin Clark Kobe drop. Like all the sneaker blogs have been tweeting all weekend long.
Caitlin Clark wasted no time proving her critics wrong. The first release of 13,000 pairs disappeared in under a minute after launch. The original $190 retail price became irrelevant almost instantly as resale markets exploded, with prices jumping to anywhere between $350 and $600. According to StockX, the industry's top benchmark for sneaker value, the average resale landed around $365, while the most in-demand sizes climbed as high as $800. But here's where the conversation shifts. While critics continue to dismiss Caitlin, many fans question why Nike hadn't acted faster. From the moment Clark entered the WNBA, it was obvious she was a generational talent. However, Nike was dealing with internal priorities. Before finalizing a deal with Caitlin Clark, the brand had been focused on elevating another star, and that decision plays a major role in today's backlash. Nike's original centerpiece was Las Vegas Aces standout Aya Wilson. She was given a reported $20 million annual deal, and the brand worked hard to craft an underdog storyline around her through high-profile campaigns. But the hard truth is this: what Caitlin Clark brings can't be manufactured. While Nike invested heavily in boosting Wilson, Clark had already built a tidal wave of attention organically. During her college years, she generated an estimated $82 million in economic impact for Iowa, without any corporate machine behind her. All she needed was a basketball and a rim. Nike, meanwhile, was too focused on checking boxes and messaging to recognize that the true game changer was already standing right in front of them.
Nike finally delivers Caitlin Clark PE. Is this the first Caitlin Clark exclusive Nike commercial since she's entered the WNBA? I know she's made a cameo here, she's made a cameo there, she was featured as part of this rollout here, featured as part of this rollout there, but is this our first official Caitlin Clark solo commercial?
That contrast is what has fueled much of the resentment. During the previous season, Aya Wilson and members of her circle pushed a narrative suggesting they were being overlooked because of the attention surrounding a certain rookie. At one point, Wilson publicly described Caitlin Clark's rise as being driven by what she referred to as white girl privilege.
Like, it's not really about me. And she knows how her privilege has gotten her to that point. And also, like, she's good at basketball, obviously. But, like, she understands her privilege and, like, pushes her over the top in a sense. It reminds me a lot of you.
For a time, Wilson's biggest spotlight came from her massive Nike deal and her signature A1 sneaker line. But that spotlight quickly began to fade. Caitlin Clark signed a reported $28 million Nike contract during her rookie season, and her first release immediately pushed Wilson's shoes toward clearance racks. The Caitlin Clark effect isn't just a catchy phrase. It's measurable, undeniable, and enormous. With Clark on the floor, WNBA viewership surged to levels not seen in nearly 25 years. Games featuring her Indiana Fever averaged an incredible 1.09 million viewers, while matchups without her drew only about 414,000. That's a staggering 163% increase. And the impact didn't stop at television. Attendance across the league jumped by 105%, and Clark alone accounted for 33.5% of total WNBA attendance across just 41 games. That's not influence, that's dominance.
I've said this again and again. Caitlin Clark is must-see TV. Caitlin Clark already is having Michael Jordan effect on the WNBA, the same effect Michael Jordan had in his first couple of years in the NBA.
Her impact didn't suddenly appear at the professional level. Even before entering the WNBA, Caitlin Clark was already rewriting history. Her final college appearance in the 2024 NCAA Women's Championship attracted 18.9 million viewers, more than 4 million higher than the men's championship game. She wasn't simply drawing eyes to the screen. She was redefining the ceiling for women's sports and proving just how big the stage could become.
It looks to me like maybe 20% of the attention she gets is for her ratings and what she's doing for the league, and then the other 80% is people either criticizing her or coming after her, or the things with the refs, or we need to protect her. She needs a bodyguard, like all these peripheral things.
And the most unbelievable part is that the Kobe edition sparking all this chaos is only the start. Caitlin Clark's official signature shoe hasn't even been released yet. It's scheduled to drop later this year. Just imagine the reaction when that happens. In the entire 28-year history of the WNBA, only 12 players have ever received a signature sneaker. That fact alone says everything. Clark may only be entering her second season, but she's already carved out a place among the sports elite. What once looked like a risky $28 million investment for Nike now feels like a bargain. The deal has sent shockwaves through competing brands like Reebok, which signed Angel Reese, and even Adidas. The message is unmistakable. Female athletes are no longer settling for leftovers. Women's sports have become a legitimate and profitable investment, and much of that shift can be traced back to one name: Caitlin Elizabeth Clark. Her influence is triggering a chain reaction, where higher salaries, major media contracts, and premium sponsorships become standard. Clark is no longer just an athlete. She's become a lightning rod. Her name is constantly pulled into heated cultural debates, often driven by commentators pushing divisive and toxic narratives. For a brand like Nike, which typically avoids controversy, navigating this space was unfamiliar and uncomfortable.
Now, she has an 8-year, $128 million deal with Nike, so she's going to eat. Merchandise in the league went up off a rookie from a Midwest-based school on the worst team in the league, 234%. But here was the one that struck me. So before she got there, the Indiana Fever, the valuation of the franchise was $90 million. Remember, they play a short season. It's not like the NBA where it lasts like 6 months. After playing, 40 games, the valuation of that team now is $340 million.
Nike's initial response was hesitation. They paused, unsure of how to proceed. The silence wasn't because they doubted Clark's impact. It was because they feared stepping into a cultural storm. But eventually the strategy changed. Nike stopped trying to win an unwinnable debate and instead returned to what it has always done best: letting performance and profit lead the way.
If you listen to the reports, Rebecca, they looked at Caitlin Clark and they said when she was out over these 5 games with a quadricep injury, there was a diminished interest to some degree in the WNBA.
While online arguments raged, the numbers told a much clearer story. Ticket sales surged, television ratings climbed, merchandise flew off shelves, and web traffic spiked, all pointing in the same direction. Caitlin Clark wasn't just drawing attention. She was overwhelming the market. The data spoke louder than any debate. One telling example came when Clark suffered an injury and WNBA viewership noticeably dipped, highlighting just how much of the league's momentum was tied directly to her presence. In the end, Nike made a decisive move. They stopped chasing approval from critics who would never be satisfied and fully committed to the athlete who was already reshaping the sport. Caitlin Clark didn't chase fame. It came looking for her. And when it arrived, she didn't hesitate. While others questioned whether she was ready, she stayed focused on the game. She filled arenas, shattered records, and sold out sneakers in seconds. Nike finally stopped second-guessing and did what should have been obvious from the start: invest in the one athlete who doesn't just influence culture, she sets it. Now the rest of the industry is forced to catch up. The figures are undeniable. The momentum is unstoppable. The sport has been permanently altered. Love her or criticize her, one thing is undeniable: Caitlin Clark isn't just changing basketball. She is basketball.